Hello friends, my name is Carl Crawford and I'm your Human Rights Officer for the City of Duluth. My pronouns are he, him, his. And it is my honor and privilege to introduce the Chair of the Human Rights Commission, Bettina Keppers.
Thank you, Officer Crawford. Welcome and thank you for being here with us today. We are here mourning the loss of Dante Wright, standing on the ancestral and contemporary lands of the Dakota, Ojibwe, and the Northern Cheyenne people. My name is Bettina Keppers. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And I'm representing the City of Duluth Human Rights Commission, along with Commissioners Huber, Vandebos, Neenan, Hakes, Priop, Rutherford, Liu, and Harmilo. As a commission, we work to promote cultural diversity, the elimination of hate, prejudice, and discrimination against persons or groups based on race, gender identity or expression, religion, sexual orientation, ability, or other status. We educate the city on human rights issues, receive and process human rights complaints received by this city's Human Rights Office, and work to fulfill the goals and objectives of the Minnesota Human Rights Act. We are here today to acknowledge the systemic violence against Black, Indigenous, people of color in our community. An event has happened that is difficult to speak, but impossible to remain silent, is a quote that's inscribed on the wall of the 1920 site of the lynching of Clayton, Elmer Jackson, and Isaac McGee, just a few city blocks from where I am today. So we are here together. Let's take a moment to see each other, genuinely see each other, to empathize with each other's pain, and to work tirelessly to understand, validate, and listen to each other's lived experiences. As a dear colleague of mine said yesterday, we are losing our lives over a fake $20 bill. The matter of today is this: fleeing a police officer should never be a death sentence. When you consider historical and ever-present acts of violence against Black and Indigenous people of color by police and our judicial system, fleeing a police officer should be considered a rational act. We are here to say that Dante Wright didn't deserve to die. We know Dante Jr. deserved to have his daddy by his side as he reached all of his life milestones. We know that Dante's mom, Katie, deserved to hug her son for many more years to come. As a City of Duluth Human Rights Commission, we are here to say that we have issues in Duluth that desperately need advocacy and our attention. Black and Indigenous people of color, mothers and fathers are having their children removed from their homes at grossly disproportionate rates, and their children are losing their right to be parented within their families of origin. Black and Indigenous children are being suspended from school at disproportionate rates, and as the NAACP revealed just last week, Black and Indigenous people of color are overrepresented in our local county jail by sometimes over 12 times their respective population in our community. To all the white people here today and listening, and to those who support progress towards human rights, if we choose to not listen to BlPOC folks, sharing their experiences and trusting their truth, we are choosing the side of the oppressor. We are actively allowing a system built on racialized violence to continue to tear apart our communities and to our fellow community members' sense of safety, security, belonging, and most basic human right, life. What about the protests? Are you drawing a line in your support for BlPOC lives when people begin to protest, cause you an inconvenience, riot, or demand their rights? We need to understand that we are not just living in today's moment. Our lives are built on millions of cumulative moments, experiences, and those of our ancestors, families, and friends. Our world is unjust, and discrimination in the form of racism, sexism, nationalism, heteronormativism, ableism, and many more are daily realities for people. We do not get to dictate how people grieve, mourn, and experience trauma. And I think that begs reiterating. We do not get to dictate how people grieve, mourn, and experience trauma. The attempted arrest and subsequent murder of George Floyd on May 25th, 2020 was not Mr. Floyd's first interaction with the police. In fact, he was stopped 19 times by the police in his adult life, This is a reality of many people of African heritage, and yes, it has a cumulative traumatic effect. Are people rageful that another black man has been murdered by the police? Absolutely. Are people angry because of lifelong experiences that affirm this could happen to them or those they love at any time by a system explicitly created to control Black, Indigenous, and people of color? Yes, more and more. Finally, for today, what is it going to take for us to finally see, listen, and trust our Black, Indigenous, and people of color community members? If you are not filled with rage, I ask you, how are you not? It is on us communities to listen, learn, reflect, and engage. Our BIPOC community members, especially Black women and queer, transgender, and gender nonconforming people, have been doing this work for decades. It's time for all of us to now step into this work and be the driving force among friends, families, and neighbors. So where do we go from here? There's much work to be done for our community to come together, and we hope that you'll join us for a community listening session tomorrow, Wednesday, April 13th at 6 p.m. via Zoom, as we gather to address the shared impact of this moment that we're in today. Entering the third week of the Derek Chauvin trial, the killing of Dante Wright, and the increase in hate crimes against Asian Pacific Islander Desi Americans. We invite you in as a Human Rights Commission. We invite you and your voice at our table. We value you. We see you. The Commission wants to work alongside you. The Human Rights Commission is here. We are committed to doing the work, and with your collaboration, we can do our work better, serve more justly, and create a more equitable world for us, our children, and generations to come. And lastly, please, if you experience discrimination in our community, please file a complaint with the Human Rights Office, and know that we will do our best to serve you. We are here for you. Black Lives Matter, Native Lives Matter, stop AAPI hate. Thank you, and I'll allow Mr. Crawford to close.
Thank you all for coming out. We're not going to entertain any questions at this time, but we invite you to come to the listening session tomorrow via Zoom. And we ask, on behalf of the Commission, that we leave in peace and in silence as Minnesota is mourning. Thank you.